For daily grind, will you daily grind?
Mm, mm.
Good morning and welcome back to the Daily Grind. That was a Freebird rendition of the Daily Grind. Shout out Skinner, the half that's still alive. I have my good friend Rusty Buckets with me today. How are you, sir? How are you this beautiful Friday morning?
Oh, it's a great day in the 901, man. Got up, went to the gym this morning, enjoying some coffee, hanging out with my buddy. I mean, what better way to start the weekend than the Daily Grind?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's what I like to hear. It's still the off season on the Daily Grind, which means we still don't have a lot of Grizzlies news. For better or for worse. Probably for worse today, maybe a little bit of both. We got the big, I don't know, there was a lot of news in the Western Conference. I'm going to start with player stuff first, and then we'll get to coach stuff. There was a rumor coming out that the Rockets have heavy interest in Marcus Smart. Maybe not heavy. I might have added heavy for flair, but it seems like I don't know if it's their head of basketball operations. What's his name? Raphael Stone. Raphael Stone and Ime Udoka, both seemingly pretty interested in bringing Marcus into that locker room as a potential trade target with Memphis in the draft. I mean, maybe not in the draft. I don't know what. I've got a lot of thoughts on this. We talked, I think you and I specifically actually talked about Marcus and his place here earlier, maybe last week.
Right.
With this news, do you have any additional thoughts? Like, do you think that this is a good trade partner? Do you think that it makes sense? Would you want to send Marcus to a Western Conference team? Does it matter to you? I mean, like, what are your thoughts on this specific matchup?
Yeah, when I saw this yesterday, I thought, man, Houston is trying to become Memphis West, right? Because they've got Dylan, they've got Steve-O, now they're coming after Marcus Smart. Yeah, I believe what I saw on Twitter yesterday, Luke said that Ime has heavy interest. So I don't think you made that up at all in Marcus Smart. I think he fits that team as they're trying to find an identity with some of their young core and build. You know, obviously they've got, Alfred Sengun, one of the best bigs in the league. You've got Steven Adams come back being healthy. Like, if they get Marcus Smart, that team is going to be a menace defensively. I don't know that it's the best move for Memphis to send him there unless we know that we're getting that third pick in return. Is Marcus worth the third pick to Houston? I don't know. But I think if we're getting that third pick, because that puts us in a prime position, as we discussed last night, and you and I have talked on here. We've talked on the 2 Buck Sports Show that's coming out this afternoon at 3 about how that moving up could benefit Memphis if you're sold on Klingon or you're sold on like a Reed Shepherd that you can get in that position. I think you've got to weigh the options. For me, sitting here right now, I don't know it's the move that I make. I don't know that it brings back what we need or what we're looking for because we're opening our championship window. Just this week on the Daily Grind, you and I, we opened to that window.
Yep.
And
hot outside. Got to open it up.
That's it, man. Let that breeze in. Open it up to all the possibilities. I think there's a better fit for us out there for Marcus. I think Marcus can bring us more in like a win now player that can fit in now. And Klingon may be that guy. I just don't know that's the best fit for me right now.
I agree with you. And honestly, I don't know if is it really the best fit for Houston other than Marcus liking them? Because look, you're going to have, if this were Dylan and are you going to tell Dylan and Marcus that one of them is not starting? So then what are you doing? You're starting those two guys. You're starting Fred, Van Vliet. You're starting, like, those are three guys that
I don't score real well.
No, those are three guys that are like you're rolling the dice on if they're gonna score for you offensively, and like if you're gonna throw out one of the Thompson twins, you're gonna throw. I don't know who you play. You got to play a center with those. Do you play Sengun? Do you play Steve-O? I just don't know if it roster wise makes that much sense, other than having another veteran presence in the locker room.
And I don't know that they need that because they have a couple veteran presence already. And what are you gonna do? You're gonna win games 55-50. I mean, because that's what it's going to have to be, because none of those guys are bucket getters. Like Dylan is feast or famine. He might get you 30. He also might get you 6. There's no real in between. And same with Marcus. Like, we saw some glimpses that Marcus can score, but Marcus has built his career on being that locker room, that dog, that defensive menace that can guard your best player, but he may not get you a ton of points. And so for Houston, I don't know if it's the right move unless it's like a move to make a move. But they said that there were the one article I did see said that there were 3 teams involved, but they didn't really say who the third team was going to be. So that kind of, it's like, there's a ton of smoke screens right now, right? We're leading up to the draft.
Yeah.
It's all about like, it's a pissing contest left and right, right? Like we're saying this, saying that, we're throwing up the smoke screen. We're trying to hide what we're doing to find out what you're doing. I don't know that there's much merit to it. I don't, for me, if I'm Memphis, I'll hear them out, but I don't know that I make that trade.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I mean, not to pile up on Marcus, but like we just saw what happened when the team that he was taking up a large portion, a lion's share of the offensive workload, they removed him from the equation and they won a chip.
Yeah.
I just don't know if offensively having him on your team is the way you want to go. Like you just said.
Sure.
The other team that made a move yesterday that doesn't directly involve the Grizzlies. I don't know why I'm
so upset.
I'm so nervous. It didn't involve the Grizzlies, but it hurts us more than this rumor mill thing because is this the most ballsy trade ever? Chicago Bulls, because the Bulls traded Alex Caruso, who I believe was on every person's list of want that dude on your team. They traded him to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Josh Giddey.
Yeah.
And I believe it was just a player for player trade.
It was.
And I believe the goal for Giddey on the Bulls is to handle a lot of the playmaking duties with like Lonzo Ball. I believe he was likened to Lonzo Ball, which is so...
It's silly.
It's so silly. It's like I feel like I'm reading. I don't read comedy books. It's like you're watching a comedy movie where you're like, "Oh, this is funny." Dumb and Dumber 3, watching what the Bulls are doing because this is so stupid. I can't think of a better trade. I mean, it doesn't give Oklahoma City size, but goodness gracious, they've got Lou Dort and Caruso both on that squad now. Like, good God, and SGA who ain't no slouch defensively. Like, I mean, I don't know.
2-time all defensive guard Alex Caruso is, like you said, he was on everybody's short list of guys to kick the tires for. And like, I'm sure Uncle Buck said this last night on our show. Like, I'm sure that there are several teams this morning that are waking up going, that's all it took to get Alex Caruso.
All it took.
That's all it took. Like, I would have called them right now and be like, hey, like, we can offer you John Conchar. I mean, because Giddey has not shown me anything come out of Australia. He was hyped. He was supposed to be this great scorer, playmaker. He's been more highlighted for his off the court troubles than he has his on court performance. And he just doesn't fit that Chicago team. That's not something that they needed. It's a weird fit alongside Lonzo and DeMar DeRozan in that bunch. And it was funny, like you said, I was perusing Twitter last night reading about it, and there was like 2 factions. Like, anything that was media, like professional media, they were trying to hype this up like it was a great trade, almost like they were trying to convince the Chicago fans who were livid on Twitter last night. Buddy. It was a graveyard. Boy, I'm sure that server was hot in Chicago last night.
Yeah. Like,
it just doesn't make sense. It's just a weird trade for Chicago. Now, Oklahoma City got a dog. Caruso is that guy that, like, he starts defending you off the bus. He can get you some buckets, but he's known for his defensive prowess. Yeah. He can knock down threes. That's it. He can be a spot-up shooter. He's a 3D kind of guy, and that guy that you want on a playoff run. And Oklahoma City, to their credit, and I hate to give them a ton of credit right now, but to their credit, they saw a need that they couldn't stop anybody in the playoffs, and they went and got one of the best perimeter defenders in the league right now. And so kudos to them. I think it's a huge move. It's a huge upgrade for Oklahoma City. I don't think they're done, but I think that's a huge, huge move for them.
I mean, I don't think that, we know they couldn't stop anybody in the playoffs, but defensive stopper wasn't what I had at the top of my what they need to do list. It was size. So the fact that they already addressed this and Presley has already addressed this, you bet your ass he's going to go and address the size problem. Like, they're not done. And if this was the first domino to fall, which is hilarious if it was a Josh Giddey trade that started this whole thing, like, Memphis is going to have to do something. Like, they're going to have to. And it's like you said, the fact that it just took Josh Giddey, who we just saw was played off the floor in the last series. Like, he lost. They didn't. He was left wide open. Like, he doesn't really have a spot in a playoff rotation. We've seen that. Like trade that for a 2-time all defensive guy. Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't. No, even if you're going on upside,
Mm-hmm.
and you're also going Caruso, who by all accounts is a great locker room dude and a great just dude, for Giddey, who is, like we said, there's off the court a distraction, and also a guy who looked like he got butt hurt when he lost his minutes. So it's not like he's a good locker room. It doesn't make any sense to me. I thought it was a joke. I literally thought it was a joke when I saw the update on my phone. I was like, it was like, look at Caruso with hair. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And it was a throwback pick, but it's silly.
It kept coming out. Like I kept waiting for like the other pieces of that trade, but then it just like ended up just being like a straight swap. And it's just it's almost like Chicago owed them a favor. Like, I don't know if their GMs got drunk and like in a poker game was like, if I win this, you give me Caruso for whatever I send you. And like, I don't know. It just feels like a weird deal that just kind of got made on the slide. And like everybody, I mean, I'm sure everybody, there was a collective, when it dropped yesterday. It makes sense for OKC, doesn't make sense for Chicago, but what does Chicago do anyway, man? They haven't been relevant in, decades.
I mean, I'm thinking about it. If you were to take Josh Giddey, Caruso might actually be the polar opposite of everything that Josh Giddey is as a player. No hair. Like shave that beautiful, say what you want about Giddey, man. He's got good hair. Shave that off. He's bald. She's a little bit shorter. Caruso can knock down a three. Giddey can't hit a three. I'm a better 3-point shooter than Giddey. It's just you've got a guy with defensive, like a backbone. Giddey has never had. It's almost like weird. The Bulls were like, okay, what do we have in Caruso? 3-point shooting. Yeah, we'll get someone that doesn't do that. Yeah. A bald guy, get someone with the most hair. It's like they just went down and checked the box. A locker room guy, we need someone who's going to really stir the pot. Like it's like they just went down and checked off all the opposites that Caruso did, and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, again, and don't forget Oklahoma City's got Kason Wallace, another guy who can absolutely just defend. Like Oklahoma City now is going to be a defensive menace, man. That team's going to be tough. That team, I know we're talking about Chicago, but like the more my wheels turn on this, like Oklahoma City. Like they pose themselves, if they get some size in the draft, and there's a prominent big man from Purdue out there that is a big lug. I mean, that's all they're really missing is just some size in the post because they've got Chet, who Chet can put on weight, I'm sure, but he's always going to be that skinny big. So Oklahoma City got better, but Chicago, man, what are y'all doing? Like if y'all want to just get rid of somebody, move DeMar DeRozan. I don't know. He's a good shooter. We need a wing shooter. Maybe he'll come to Memphis. I don't know.
I mean, like if this is the first, if Chicago's waving the right flag and they're going full rebuild mode, give me Andre Drummond on the vet minimum. Like give me
Vucci
Mane. Like if they're getting rid of all these dudes, like you trying to get rid of Vucci, take Jake, take John. Like if you want young guys, you're just trying to see what you have. Like. We're open. And
hey, y'all are into projects. We'll give you Zaire. Y'all have 2 projects to work on. We'll give you both. Send us Vucci Mane, and we'll call it a day.
Yep. And Memphis is going to have to do something.
Yeah.
The fact that OKC doing this, they're laying the gauntlet down. Like the West is going to have to do something. They were the 1 seed last year, and they just got better. Clock's ticking.
Also, a little side, I don't know if you're going to talk about this or not, but Malik Monk re-signing with Sacramento was big for them, man. That guy can get buckets off the bench. He's a good player. He's young. Inked a deal yesterday to stay with Sacramento. So, the Grizzlies are going to get left in the dust. This is not going to be one of those years where we can make like future moves where like we typically do for like picks and assets and stuff. Like we're going to have to make some win now moves if we're going to keep up with what looks like is going to be a wild offseason based on the start.
This is not an offseason where breadcrumbs for Jarrett Culver at the end of it is not going to do it this year.
Nope.
Another team, we're going to switch gears a little bit because another team that made a move yesterday in what might have been the most, I guess obvious. I think we all, once the Lakers, once Dan Hurley left LA, I think we were all like, well, they're going to hire JJ, right? JJ Redick was hired as the next coach for the Lakers, 4-year deal, I believe. I don't think the details of it have come out. I like JJ. I don't know. Props to him for not getting butt hurt when you hear what they offer Dan Hurley and to still be gracious and accept the job. I just think if you're coaching LeBron James, it's a pointless job.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
You're a figurehead. You're a placeholder. They went and got his buddy from his podcast. This feels like they're trying to. I was forced to watch the new Space Jam with LeBron James with my nephews this past weekend on Father's Day. It was awful. And it feels like you're trying to write that kind of script, right? Like this is going to be a movie one day that LeBron brings his best bro in from his podcast and he coaches his team and they go win a ship, and it's not going to happen. And like, it's a weird fit. Like JJ's a weird, like just a weird fit for that. Like, I don't know. He loves to hear himself talk. Obviously, that's why he's been on all these ESPN shows. I don't get it. I don't get what the draw to coaching. I mean, yeah, it's the Lakers, but you're like you said, you're coaching LeBron James, and you know you're not the real coach. Like you're not like if LeBron goes to the Buss family and says, "Hey, JJ's got to go," he's out. Like there's no two ways around that. And so then you got paper mache Anthony Davis and these guys. It's just like it's just a weird fit. It's not a job that I would want. Like you said, kudos to him. He's a better man than I am. Did get butthurt over being left at the altar only to be brought back to the altar. It's just a weird. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also weird because I don't know. Is that 4 years? Like nothing about that 4 years would signal to me that they're serious about keeping me around long term. Vogel won him a championship, got fired. Darvin Ham took him to the Western Conference Finals, got fired. Like, I don't know what you can do to keep your job, like apart from building a time machine, going into the future, coming back with the titles you're going to win and be like, look what I did. Like, it's just, I like, they don't seem, I don't know. They don't seem driven by results because they've gotten results and it didn't work. And so I don't, until I'm on year 2 of my contract, I'm not trusting that I'm going to be here long term.
Yeah, and this very much is like we're still planning with LeBron. It doesn't feel like making preparations for LeBron moving on. This is a very short-sighted move of keeping LeBron happy, who, let's face it, yes, he's a generational talent, one of the greatest top 3 basketball players of all time. But he's also 40 years old, and he's not quite the same guy we saw. He looked tired in the playoffs last year. Like he was out of gas. And so you're allowing this older former superstar, current superstar, whatever you want to call him. Don't jump on me in the comments. I'm not a LeBron fan. But like this aging superstar still running your team and making you make short-term moves that is not going to help you in the long run. No.
Well, and granted, I don't know the series of it. I have heard that I've read a couple things where it sounds like Bron may have pumped the brakes on playing with Bronny. Right before I was listening, it might have been Verno. I was listening to his pod this morning. And I think they were saying that it might have been an Athletic piece where he has said that he's not as married to that idea. The idea of I have to play with my son. It just doesn't sound like he's going to hold the team hostage like I thought he was going to be like, draft my son or I'm out. It sounds like he is going to be more focused. I mean, who knows if he's, I don't trust, I don't hate LeBron, but it's like after the decision, I just don't, every move seems calculated for
PR.
Yes. Yeah. And so I don't, you can say you don't want to play with your son to make it look like you're happy with JJ, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, or he probably watched the same scouting films and combines that we watched and saw that his son ain't an NBA player.
Well, yeah, and his son is not going to be accepting a 2-way contract. And it's like,
this is a cancer. Who wants to draft that? You know what I mean? Like already you're coming in, you're drafting LeBron's son, drafting a guy who said he's not willing to accept a 2-way, and you're drafting a guy who's undersized for his position. Like there's a lot of red flags there. And it's like, I don't know who's going to want that.
I don't know.
Maybe Chicago.
That's good. We're coming. You know what? We're gonna take a break. That was good. I like Chicago catching strays. They've been ever since Nate Robinson, man. Letting him walk was the biggest mistake they ever made.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna take a quick break, and when we get back, we're gonna talk about our weekends because it's actually the weekend thing. Right after this break, we're gonna talk weekend outlook.
Speaking of getting rid of toxins, Kenny Stubblefield, David Jones.
Wow.
I mean, depending on who you look at it. You know, he may be a toxin to the University of Memphis. The University of Memphis might be a toxin to him. In a very dramatic fashion, David Jones decided he will be taking this talent to the NBA. At around 10:55, man, it started feeling a little bleak. You know, I text you. I said, Kenny, is there any hope?
I mean, he kind of the writing's been on the wall, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he said it to the Daily Memphians Drew Hill at the combine. If I get all you
Any inclination that I can get,
think at me the right way, I'll stay in the
no. You only have a very short window of time. I think that window is very small. I think you can get caught up in just becoming an amateur basketball player, and you can lose that window of opportunity.
Tune in to the Anthony Stange Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
This has turned into unrealistic expectations for teams. Not every team is ready to win a championship. There are steps you got to take to put yourself in position to win it. And I thought that what they had done in Cleveland had become a team that was muddled in nothing. And JV, I thought they created a little bit of a culture. You were able to find a star player. I think it's tough. I go back to what happened with Adrian Griffin in Milwaukee. I mean, you got the second best record in the NBA, and they say, well, we don't know if you're the one to get us over the top. Yeah, but the guy you bring in is only 5-6 games over 500 from that point on. You would hope that realistic expectations start to come back into the fold, other than these unrealistic things that it's going to happen. Winning a championship happens just like that, because it didn't that way at all.
Tune in to the Night Court Podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Daily Grind. Oh man, that was awful. We're gonna
Sean Connery?
Yeah, it's like Sean Connery's
with a mouthful. It's like Sean Connery with a mouthful of peanut butter.
Yeah, Sean Connery's dog. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. You can catch that show, Anthony Stange Show, Night Court. You can catch the $2 Sports Show dropping this afternoon.
Let's go.
I'm excited. You can catch, we got a Grizz, the Grizz 901 live draft show is going to be next Wednesday. The draft is Wednesday. That's crazy. And then Summer League is going to be around the corner. You just wait. Mm-hmm. But back to the show. Oh, bluffcitymedia.co. You can check them out there. I say it every day. I forgot at that time. Weekend Outlook. It's the part of the show where we discuss what we're doing this weekend. Mm-hmm. Can be sports related, doesn't have to be sports related. If it was sports related, I'd be confused because there's not many sports happening right now, unless it was baseball. But this is the doldrums of baseball. I can go first. This weekend, I am going to be. So I don't know if there's Snoopy. There's one thing. There's a little Snoopy right here. He is reading. He's reading The Hobbit. The Hobbit is my favorite book in the world. If I was stuck on a desert island with one book, I would bring The Hobbit. They are re-releasing The Lord of the Rings, the extended editions, which combined is like 12, 13 hours of viewing. They're re-releasing them in theaters like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So they're going to be coming out like the first one tonight, second one tomorrow, third one Sunday. And I'm going to go sit in a movie theater for 4 hours each of the days and just and I hose popcorn
about a handful.
Yep. It's a crime scene. And so I'm just excited. After walking 11 to 14 miles a day at Bonnaroo, I'm going to be excited just to sit in a movie theater and just like gorge. I'm very, very excited.
Nice, man. Yeah, so mine is kind of sports related, kind of not. It's finally the weekend. After a shameless plug, the $2 Sports Show drops today at 3 o'clock. Check it. Listen, check it out. It's gonna be fun. We did a true false about the Memphis Grizzly draft. We gave you our Mount. We did a Mount Rushmore in honor of Willie Mays, who passed away this week. Check it out. It was a lot of fun. We got long-winded, went long, but check it out. 3 p.m. today. BluffCityMedia.co. Then, so two things. Tonight, I'm going with all of my coworkers here in Memphis. We're going to a Redbirds game. We're taking up all of right field. There's about 70 of us that are going to go. It's going to be a blast, man. We've got barbecue buffet. We got beers on tap. It's going to be hot as all get out, but it's going to be a ton of fun, man. I'm super stoked to go hang out with
That's awesome.
Yeah, with my coworkers. Like, it's great. I love working with this company that does this. Last weekend, me and my clinic directors went out for a happy hour. This Friday night, we're going to a Redbirds game. Like, it's just fun to have coworkers like to hang out with, right?
Yeah.
Then you'll appreciate this, I think, a lot, Luke, because you celebrated this the last time we did one. But Maggie and I have a date tomorrow where we're going to do another escape room in a box. And I couldn't be more freaking stoked, man. Like the last one was a blast. We got out of Pharaoh's tomb. Somehow it's her turn to pick this time. There's like I think there's like a hotel and there's one other, I can't remember what the other one is, but it's like, I'm super stoked, man. It's going to be awesome. Tomorrow we're just going to be lazy. We're going to lounge around. We've both been busy and we're going to do that escape room. I'm stoked. Spending time with her is my favorite thing. You throw in an escape room with it. I'm here for it, man. I'm
so excited to hear about it. Escape rooms are like,
man.
Whoever comes up with them, if you're not watching this, thank you for coming up with escape rooms, but they're cool and they're creative.
Yeah.
Props. I want to make. We should think of an escape room style episode, but I don't know how we would do that unless
that would be a blast.
Unless it was like Saw, we would film like us in Saw, and we're like trying to escape.
See, when with that, I was thinking we could do just like Grizz trivia to get out of the different rooms, almost like a D&D
or
style.
that. You know, we can do body
trying to get me
horror,
killed, and
torture, or we can play fun trivia. That's up to you. Pick your poison, ladies and gentlemen.
If that doesn't sum us up, I don't know what does.
Touche. That's gonna do it for the show. Have a good weekend, everybody. Catch the $2 Sports Show this afternoon. Catch the Stange Show this afternoon. We got a lot going on Fridays. It's one of our days. A lot of content for you. Jess Benson show's happening right now. Go check it out. I will see everybody Monday. Remember 2 things this weekend. Remember to be a little weird and remember to smile. Bye, guys. Have a good one.